Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this fourth video, we're talking about how to sell e-commerce merchants. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about finding a web developer. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky and a little bit interesting. So one of my core beliefs about merchant services businesses and why a lot of people struggle is that they don't look at it like a business. They look at it like just a job. And yeah, I go out and I sell merchant services and everything. And from a work ethic perspective, yes, you need to look at it like a job. It's something you do 8 hours a day, every day. But if you really want to grow it, you need to also, in addition to it being your day job, you also need to think of it as a business, okay? Now, as a business, one of the things that is absolutely crucial if you are going to succeed in the payment processing e-commerce world is that you must, I repeat, you must have a relationship with a web developer with whom you can work, okay? Now, I want to talk to you about different ways to set this up. So let me kind of explain the situation here. So imagine you start calling these companies, these e-commerce companies, okay? They are going to have really one and only one objection, okay? Their one and only one objection is going to be, we don't want to switch gateways because it would be too inconvenient. In other words, we've already programmed our system to use a certain gateway. There's just no way that we want to, go another route here, okay? So what you have to do is you have to be able to provide that service to them and say, hey, that's okay. I have my own web developer. We will work with you, but let's at least explore and let's have a conversation and talk about what would be involved, whether it's on your side or our side, because the savings are going to be really significant for you. So you can talk to them about the savings and the value proposition, but again, the objection is going to be, what are you going to do for me? How is this going to be convenient? I don't want to have my site down for a day, all of that. Those are all real concerns for an e-commerce business, especially today where they're competing against Amazon and large competitors, Walmart.com and things like that. So what do you do about this? Well, here's how you find a good web developer. There's a couple tricks to the trade that you can learn. So there's a couple challenges. Number one, how do you pay the web developer? Well, in my experience, one of the things that's really cool about this is that web developers actually are not that familiar with the merchant services industry. They understand payment processing and how to do the technical side, but they don't understand that there's like hundreds and thousands of dollars that's just flowing through this industry on a daily basis that they could be getting if they were getting a piece of the residual, profit. And so one of the things that I will do is if I'm selling like an e-commerce merchant, I'll have a web developer and say, hey, look, if you'll do the payment integration on these deals for me, I'll give you, 30% or even 50% of my profit on this deal if you will literally take care of all the technical side so that all I have to do is sell it. So again, it's a little different with e-commerce because of course I would never do that with like a physical location business because, what am I going to pay somebody to go install the terminal? I mean, you just plug a terminal in. Anybody could do that. Whereas e-commerce takes a lot more work, it's a lot more challenging to do. So if you get kind of a partnership with somebody that's like, sure, I'll take care of the technical aspect of it, you take care of making the sale and working with the client to get these deals and cold call and all that. So what you're going to find is web developers, a lot of them are looking for work. They are willing to do a deal with you where they're going to get a cut of the profits. They may want a little bit of money up front just to offset their time. Maybe you pay them $100 up front plus 30% residual or something like that. But you can make a deal with somebody to give them part of your profit up front and residual in some cases in order to get them to be your web developer. Now, having said that, there's another thing that you need to understand about this. Most websites are created, like if you look at e-commerce websites, there are like, 3 or 4 major frameworks, WordPress, Ruby on Rails, a few others where there's like these main ones, there's PHP frameworks and stuff. So there's kind of these main ones that are done. However, there are other ones out there and your web developer probably specializes in only maybe 1 or 2 of those particular platforms. And so it may be challenging if you get one web developer, they may not be able to handle every deal for you. And so the idea here is you want to get the web developer on board as your partner to take care of the integration, but you also need to be ready on these larger deals. You need to be ready to invest some money to hire somebody off of somewhere like Upwork.com through your partnership with the web developer, okay? So the structure you want to set up if you want to sell a bunch of e-commerce businesses is you find a local, hopefully it's a local local person, that would be best. You find a local web developer, someone who's tech savvy, that they show you their websites that they've built, and definitely that they have integrated payments into. If they've never integrated payments before and that they're out of scope, PCI compliant, out of scope, then you don't want to work with them. You want to work with somebody that's pretty familiar with integrating payment gateways like Authorize.net or NMI or different ones like that. So once you find that person, the idea is their goal is going to be to cut costs and to do as much of the work themselves as they can, but they're also going to be the person that's going to manage the Upwork person, right, to deal with it. So how do you do that? Well, what you do is you tell them, say, look, if I have to hire somebody and pay them, $500 on Upwork to help you get this done, or $1,000 or whatever, I'll pay that money, but I'm going to get my $1,000 back before you start getting your 30% cut. So you're going to break even before they start getting their profit split. So that's going to motivate them to try to get you the lowest price on Upwork, but that way you're allowing them to manage that process. So this video is a little bit more complex in terms of just business, but what I'm describing to you right now, this is just business. It's like business 101. You got to do deals, you got to find people, you got to hire people, where you'll partner with them, find people that have skills you don't have and work with them. But if you can find the right person that understands the value of residual, you might have to talk to 20 developers to find the right one. You can get somebody that will be a partner with you, and you're doing all the work of calling all these websites and everything, and then they're doing all the work of integrating the technology, which is the other variable. So hopefully this video was a help to you. We're going to move on and do one more video to talk kind of about closing the deals and actually moving forward with these sales.